Yo, what's good, YouTube? Today we're going over my human male adept build. Um, this is probably one of my favorite characters to play with in this game. He's very, very powerful. He's a little squishy, but he makes up for that in the damage that he outputs. Very strong, very good for team support. Um, very good for crowd control. He's just a good character all around, in my opinion. And I'm going to be showcasing the gameplay. Now in the gameplay, I do go down, a couple times. I'm playing with some subs, and they're just leveling up characters, so we're just having a good time. And plus, whenever I play guys, I play super aggressive. I don't really worry about, um, you know, conserving the amount of consumables I have, and I don't know. I don't see the point in that. Obviously you can sit back and play more passive and stuff, but I normally try to play aggressive for you guys because that's my play style in general. But I always like to show you, an aggressive way to play with characters. And yeah, I mean, you do happen to go down from time to time, but it should happen. So I don't really, worry about that. But we're gonna go ahead and get right into the build. So for pull, I only have 1 point in pull. You can use this to throw enemies off the map and stuff. I normally use it whenever I drain shields off a sharpshooter, or if I have enemies, kind of shooting at me. I normally just hit them with the pull to float them up and just rip them down with my weapon or shockwave, because when you pull an enemy, you can't throw shockwave and cause a bot combo. So, keep that in mind. For singularity, rank 4, I'll go for radius. Just to be able to pick up, more enemies at one time. Rank 5, I go for recharge speed. Singularity's cooldown isn't that great, so I like having the recharge speed so I can, use it more often. Rank 6, I go for exploding singularity. I like the damage that it does whenever it explodes, and plus also, whenever it explodes, it can cause combos as well, so keep that in mind. Now, expanding singularity is fun, but I just feel like exploding singularity is more effective. Now for Shockwave rank 4, I go for damage and force. Radius is good to be able to combo more enemies, but I like damage and force just mainly for the bosses as well. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like you can drop enemies a lot better, with the Shockwave having more damage than the radius in general. Now without the radius, you are going to have to be more accurate with your Shockwave, okay? So if you're not that accurate, go with radius, but the more you use it, the better you're going to get with it. So when you do that, I feel like damage and force is more beneficial. Rank 5. Now, you can go either way with this. You can't go recharge speed because Shockwave's cooldown is also not that great, but I prefer reach just because, for example, on maps like Zero, whenever people are just funneling enemies down hallways, you can actually have the singularity go through multiple enemies. So if you have, let's say, a couple Hydras and a Berserker, and then you got a bunch of sharpshooters and raiders and stuff just coming throughout the back of them, okay, in like a line, what you can do is you can throw your singularity, and any enemies that are primed for tech combos, like if they have any type of incendiary ammo, if they're on fire or whatever, when you throw your shockwave through the singularity, it's going to cause bot explosions, but at the same time it's going to keep traveling, and any enemy that's primed, it's going to set off those tech combos too. So you can actually set off a lot of combos with the shockwave. So that's why I like reach, just to be able to reach more enemies, within the shockwave, because without it, it doesn't reach that far. So you're going to have to play a lot more up close and personal, but at times when you have to sit back for objectives and stuff, reach is definitely beneficial. Now rank 6, I go for anti-armor. I only play gold, you guys know that. Lifting Shockwave is okay. I know some people use it, but I prefer anti-armor. Again, more effective towards the bosses. Offensive Biotics, rank 4, I go for power enhancement. You can go for power efficiency, but the way I rock this guy, I always run a power efficiency mod, so that's going to make up for it. I like the power damage to also increase the damage of the singularity that it does, because it does do damage over time, along with the damage of the Shockwave. Alright, rank 5, I like going with exposure. Combo detonation, not really that effective in my opinion. Exposure is better to me. This is going to be beneficial for, whenever you pick up enemies within this singularity, they're going to, your team is going to be able to do more damage to them. Whenever you have, hydras and bosses running through your singularity, they're affected by it. It's going to allow you and your team to output more damage and be able to drop the bosses at a faster rate. Now rank 6, Biotic Expert is nice, but the power balance in this game is off. I feel like For me personally, the way that I play, I like balancing power damage along with weapon damage. So for rank 6, I decided to go for Biotic Warrior. Um, if you just want to go straight power damage, you can. It's not terrible, but again, this is all personal preference. For me, I prefer to have a little bit increased weapon damage, okay? Biotic Warrior is going to give you plus 15% weapon damage bonus. It gives you plus 50% melee damage bonus, which I don't ever melee, and plus 15% melee force, which again is irrelevant for me. I'm mainly just using this just to increase. So whenever I'm sitting there, I throw a Singularity, throw a Shockwave, cause a biotic combo, hitting enemies, throw a Shockwave. If you throw pull, you're going to get that increased damage. So any of your powers, because you're going to be using them often, is going to, you know, increase the amount of damage your gun is going to output. So if you go with that, definitely helpful. Again, it's just going to be however you want to build this guy. You know, you can do it however you want to. This is just how I play with him. Now for barrier, rank 4, I go for unyielding barrier because, you know, he's an adept. He's going to be a little bit squishy, so I like having the plus 30% max shields. And plus, when I play really, really aggressive, I like my shields, you know, to not just drop at the, you know, go down at the drop of a hat. But recuperative barrier is okay if you're playing a little bit back and you're using cover a lot more. You're going to be able to regain your shields at a faster rate. But for me, unyielding barrier was the way to go. Rank 5, I prefer to go Biotic Link. This is going to increase your maximum shields while at least one Biotic effective is active. Now, it's going to increase your max shields by 40%. So whenever you pull enemies and they're just floating, this is going to, you know, this is going to complement that. Singularity is going to complement that. This is just really, really good for survivability, guys. Now for rank 6, if you're going for a power-based build, go for active barrier. I don't really care for this too much because there are times where you're not going to kill enemies with the Biotic power. So in that instance, this is going to be irrelevant. Now, if you're sitting there just pulling enemies off the map, you know, and that's how you play, go for it. It's definitely going to help you out. I like saving barrier because since I'm running around trying to truck enemies, this is very good because I don't have to worry about it whenever I get low health. My shields are going to fully restore. You know, this is very good for aggressive players, in my opinion. Now, for my loadout, I like rocking the Hurricane, okay? Because the reason for this being is after you use a Biotic ability, okay, from the Biotic Warrior, you get 3 seconds of increased weapon damage. Now, the Hurricane, I feel, is the best for this type of build, only because of the fact that its high fire rate is going to output a lot of damage within that 3 seconds. Okay, so every time you cast a ability, you're going to get increased weapon damage for 3 seconds. With this type of weapon, it's very, very good and very, very powerful, especially against bosses. Okay, for my equipment, I like the Adaptive War Amp. This is going to increase, you know, again, the damage of your Shockwave, so you're going to be able to punch through it, bosses and regular enemies a lot faster. It's going to help with your Singularity damage. I feel like this is really good. Now, you can swap, you know, if you want to, and go with like Combatives Upgrade. It's going to help the damage output from your Hurricane, obviously, so you're going to be able to shred enemies really quick. Gorilla Upgrade also gives you a pistol increased damage. Juggernaut Shield is not bad, you know, if you want a little bit more survivability. Engineering Kit is totally irrelevant for this, okay, so I definitely would not even go with that. For consumables, now, me personally, I always like running an ammo type. You guys already know that. I would definitely run Disruptor rounds, and then I would run Incendiary if you wanted to, but I prefer Disruptor just for the shield draining abilities of it. But with the Hurricane, because of how fast it shoots, you can drain shields very quickly. It doesn't matter what type of ammo you use, but I feel like Disruptor ammo primes enemies faster. Cryo ammo, it primes too slow for me. That's why I don't really use it that often. I'll normally, like if I were to prioritize the importance of ammo types for my playstyle, it would definitely go with Disruptor with number 1, and then Incendiary number 2, and then, you know, Cryo number 3. For my second, I always run Power Efficiency mod, just because I like having my powers recharge at a faster rate. Definitely helps with that. When your Singularity is on cooldown or your pull's on cooldown, and all you have is Shockwave, you can prime enemies. The Hurricane also primes enemies very, very quickly. So you can, when you hit them with the Shockwave, it's going to cause a tech combo. So I like having my powers, you know, cooldown a lot faster because you can do a variety of things with this guy. You can do biotic combos, tech combos, anything really. He's very versatile. Now, if you're going for a power-based build, definitely go for biotic power amp. This is gonna just stack with adaptable amp equipment, and you know you're gonna be doing a shit ton of damage for biotic power. So that's another route you can take. You know, other than that, guys, that's about it. Now, one thing that I want to go over as well, I get this question asked a lot. How I build a character, okay? If you're starting him out, and let's say you got 10 character cards for him, okay? If he's at level 1, I always spec into their health and shields and their passives first, okay? Just wait a little bit on their abilities because of the fact that you know, if you're trucking through gold at level 1s, which is what I do a lot, I prefer to, you know, try to stay up as often as possible. I don't sit there and, you know, not put anything into health and shields and put everything in your abilities, because what's going to happen is in gold, all it's going to take is a couple sharpshooter shots and you're down. You know, you're not going to be able to help your team a whole lot. So that's why always go for health and shields and passes first when you're building up a character, okay, especially if you're leveling them up through gold, and then spec into the abilities as you go. Now, once you get them at a higher level, okay, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I would say at least, you know, in the high teens for sure. Then you can, you know, use a respec card or use your mission funds to get a character respec card and respec them how you wanted them. But starting out, again, I can't stress enough, health and shields and passives, okay? Leave your abilities later on, but definitely go with that. So you're not just going to be spending the whole match not being able to help your team out laying on the ground. Well, guys, that's going to conclude the build video. I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up for me. I appreciate all the support. Stay tuned for more build videos. I'm working on the Krogan Engineer next. I did want to do him, you know, today, but I'm just going to wait. I wanted to do the Human Male Adept because, again, he's one of my favorites. So I wanted to go ahead and show a build for you guys, and he's one of the basic vanilla characters. But, yeah, just make sure to hit that subscribe button for me if you're, you know, wanting to stay tuned for more build videos. And I hope you guys have a great day and stay blessed. Peace.
objectives of interest.
Hydra ahead!
Artifact is secure. Squad member down.
Get out of the way!
Artifact recovered. I'm reading a flat line. I'm reading a flat line. Squad member down. Almost done. Artifact is secure. All objects accounted for. Objective complete.
Stay in cover.
Three more to go. All enemies clear. Keep it up. Enemies headed your way. Hostiles en route. Teammate injured. Squad member down. Squad member down. Squad member down. Teammate injured. Squad member down. Reading a flat line.
No shield.
Reading a flat line. Relax. Go get him. Enemies cleared. Stay alert. Recovery requested. Please recover objects of interest.
No shields.
Teammate injured. Squad member down. Reading a flat line. Got the drop. to the LZ.